Hello, I'm Sandy Allnock. Welcome to my YouTube channel where today I'm unboxing the award that I got from Copic's competition that they did last year. I won, apparently, surprisingly, an award for, I don't know, this is called the Applicant's Choice Award. I think what that means, since it's not like an award for something with a name like everything else has, I think it means I got the most likes on mine, which means I sent all of you to go hit the like button, and you did. I think they assumed that anybody who clicked the like button is in the competition, not like just fans. So thank you. Thank you for clicking the like button for my disco chicken. I'll link to the 2 videos of that project in the description down below if you want to see it, because it was rather an epic project. So my name is on the official Copic Award list. In here they have, I don't know why they separated out a couple of special pens. Well, of course, one is a Copic Acrea. They're trying to get people to try them. And they gave me these 3 colors, nothing wild about them, not new colors, except one of them, the RV11, says it's the Copic Award pen. I was hoping it would be like a new special color, but no, it's just an RV11. But this was also in the box. And it has like my name on it and Copic Award on it. And yeah, so even though I have all the markers, one of the reasons I'm excited about this is because everybody's been telling me that these caps leak and their markers are drying out fast. I'm going to put these to the test and see if that happens to me as well. So I haven't had a new Copic marker in forever. So now I do. I have a whole bunch of them. And I'm going to put them to the test today. I wanted to see if I could use all the colors in this set in one drawing, which would mean doing something where I could include a lot of little bits of things, but not necessarily try to do a rainbow of stuff. And you know me, I had to do something epic with lots of light in it. So I sketched out me sitting at my desk, well, a modified version of my desk, and it's going to be at nighttime. So let's get started. The paper that I'll be using for this is actually linear paper from Poland. A friend of mine from Poland sent it to me because I was asking her about it. She was part of the gift guide project that I did. I'll link to the gift guide down below in case you're into art supplies and want to see my favorite stuff and then a bunch of other people's favorite stuff. But I'm going to try out this paper. It's a little heavier than your standard marker paper. It feels a little bit beefier, but it works quite the same. Like the surface of it works the same, blending's the same, that sort of thing. And I took the paper out of the sketchbook and put it on here, taped it down so I could get a nice crisp white border around the outside edges. And there is a sheet of paper underneath for blotting because I didn't know how much it would bleed through. But if you want to see the bleed through, I forgot to film it, but I did take a picture to put on the blog post. So if you want to see how it bleeds through the back, this is Polish paper, and I don't know that it's sold anywhere other than a particular place in Poland. I will have a link for you in the doobly-doo, so if you're in or near Poland, maybe you can get yourself some because it's nice paper. The whole thing about this drawing that I decided to do was a leg lamp tribute. The moment when I was talking with the people from Copic, they told me that I'd won this prize and they needed my information so they could mail it to me. They wouldn't tell me what it was. And I was joking with my friends that maybe it's a leg lamp. Because if you've ever watched the Christmas movie called A Christmas Story, there's a whole thing in it about a leg lamp as a major award. And I thought if I won a major award, maybe it's actually a leg lamp. It was not a leg lamp, as you saw in the opening of this video. But I thought I would draw a leg lamp. And I originally thought about drawing the leg lamp from the movie. And the whole base of the lamp is a lady's leg with fishnet stockings on it. But since my drawing that won was a drawing of a chicken, I thought maybe it would be a chicken and the legs would be part of the base of the lamp, and then the rest of it would come out of his back. So yeah, I went there with crazy things, but I thought I'm going to draw this and make it a picture of my studio, kind of a modified version of my studio, because it would be my studio if I was in like a big city with a big window and blah blah blah, like that was kind of what I was thinking. So it's not all technically my studio, but a lot of it is what it looks like when I'm sitting there working. So I started out with that because I wanted the brightest colors there, and then everything else as it gets dark will be able to be compared to that. Because when you're doing a scene at night or any kind of picture at night, most of it is going to be black or grays or desaturated color. And the brighter colors are going to be right where the light is, and everything else is going to fade out. It's a matter of thinking through, if you had that lamp on your table, where would it shine? Because a few months ago, I did a video where I talked about the light and thinking of it instead of as light, think of it as heat. If you picture that lamp being full of like flames, it's really hot, then things that are going to be really close to it are going to be really warm. So they're going to be really bright colors and they're going to be lighter. But everything as you start stepping away from that lamp is going to get cooler and cooler and cooler and grayer and darker because the light is concentrated around that lamp. Now, if you're not drawing a night scene, of course, light's going to come from all over. But if this is your only source of light, which it is in this particular picture, then I need to think about it in that way. So when I started drawing myself in there, I was trying to figure out at first what color the back of my sweater would be, because it was going to be a yellow sweater, because yellow is my favorite color. But not much of my sweater was going to be warmed by that light, just the front parts of it. So I started going in with purples to darken the yellows, and then with grays finally. There's a limitation to what I had in the colors in this particular set. Not that it was, a bad limitation or anything, just simply because, it was still 72 colors. That's nothing to sneeze at. But it did leave me with some decisions to make that I would have made differently had I been using a full set of markers. So with the whole setting, what I wanted this to feel like was if I had a window in a studio right here in the same space, but if it was like in New York City, so I could look out over the city. And at the time that I was working on this, it was actually nighttime, and I was, doing most of it in the evening. And it was about 2 hours worth, I think, of work to create it, a little over 2 hours. But it was snowing outside. A few weeks ago, we had some snow, at least a few weeks from the time that you're watching this. We finally had some snow in early February. And I just thought, wouldn't it be cool if I was just sitting here looking out of my very cool studio with my very cool award lamp on my desk and stuff, and looking out of like one of those windows with the grates on it and stuff. So I decided to try to make that be the window instead of just my regular glass window that's at my normal suburban house in Washington. I thought I'd just imagine being in a different place. And it was still in my mind, like I just kept thinking it would be so cool if I was watching the snow out in New York City where I used to live instead of here in Washington. Even though I love it here in Washington, thinking of having a studio in New York was just a cool thought. So that's where my brain went in this window. But the window frame and the window blinds, everything else is here in my studio. So I did some adaptations, but left a bunch of it. But I didn't have a whole lot I could put in there in terms of colors, like the selection of them. I just kept getting darker because I was trying to figure out how to make it look like that was looking out at night. And it needed to just keep getting darker, so I added another dark blue. I was wishing that I had some more of the dark turquoise kinds of colors, more blue-greens, but I didn't have any more in that set. So it is what it is. And I'll even go over that with more value and, knock it back even further as time goes on. But I wanted to start getting around the rest of the picture and see how things were going to play out before I fussed any more with that window, because it was driving me a little bit crazy. So I drew in the actual blinds that are in my studio. They're kind of a cream color, I guess. I think they were white originally, but now they're cream. And I wanted to, have that in there covering part of the window so that the plant could kind of come up and cover part of the window so that if it was just against the dark window, the plant wouldn't stand out much. So that's why I kept my blinds instead of making it a bigger view. But the plant then is not one that's in my studio. I used to have plants in here, but I decided a couple of years ago that I couldn't keep them alive anyway. I just kept buying more plants and killing them, which does not seem productive. So I keep telling myself now I need to get more fake plants because I have a couple of fake plants in my house that look really kind of realish. And I don't have to worry about killing them when I forget to water them. So I need a nice big one in that corner because I can't reach anything in that corner anyway. It would be really nice to have something huge and green growing-ish back there. So I started with a couple of greens and then went in with blacks in order to push that plant away from the light. And as I did that with the black and then, kind of smushing in it with the grays toned down the greens that were left there and stuff. That all led me to adding more color to the blinds because I wanted to really start pushing everything into the darkness. So here I'm adding more of the grays into the plant. And then I decided it was time to darken the window and see if that would help. All of a sudden, it made the glow on me look much better. So I was happy with how that was going. But it was still, what am I going to do with this window? I kept asking myself repeatedly. I had to just keep redeciding things. And then, of course, all the coloring I did around the chicken's head just made the marker kind of bleed out a little bit. So, yeah. I'll be coming back to the chicken and doing more of him because I want to add more shading to him, but I wanted to see how he kind of relates to everything else in the picture first. So I did add some shadows with blues in the reds and the orangey kind of colors so that I could get those complementary colors shading each other. Because again, I don't have a dark red in this, so using a green or a blue helps to darken the red. So then I wanted to add a little more to the lamp. The lamp has fringe hanging off of it. So I first drew in the black, or I guess it was a dark gray that I used for the fringe, and then added on top of it some Copic Acrea pen. Because these Copic Acrea pens, they're actually pretty cool pens because they don't absorb color from underneath, even over red. If you've tried using a gel pen and it turns pink after a bit, this doesn't do that. So these Acrea pens are actually pretty swanky. So I can recommend them, having used it for a while. You can get them singles or you can get sets of them. There's an essentials set that has gold and silver in it too, which is really nice. But you can get the singles. Don't get them on Amazon. They're $9 on Amazon. And they're $4 or something like that, or $3 or $4 over on Blick. And I think Blick is the only place that has them, at least at the time that I am currently making this video. So I know they were the first for an early release, and then since Copic sent me this one, maybe they are releasing them elsewhere. Maybe there's other places you can get them, but just beware. They shouldn't be $9. That's crazy. So adding in colors into all of the objects on my desk, I just used real things that are there. My water jug, a mug with something to drink in it, my little cups that I have my brushes in. I have this monstrous thing with chicken wire around it with all of my brushes, massive numbers of them. I put books there, my little box with my baby wipes in it. If you know my studio, then you would recognize a lot of these items. So I just made it very personal to me, even though this is all a fantasy picture. And then started working on putting in shadow colors behind the chicken lamp or the rooster lamp, because it was just not popping in front of it. So the window had to get darker and darker. And that left me with not putting snow in it eventually, just because I didn't want to take away from the things that were in the foreground by adding that little dream of snow in the city. But I had my years of snow in the city when I was young and living in New York and working at agencies and all that kind of stuff. So now I just, live vicariously through my own drawings. So for this chicken, I wanted to add more light to it, or the rooster. And in order to do that, I could put down some Acrea pen, let it dry for a minute. It dries pretty quickly. And then go over it with markers. So even if I can't lighten things, you can only lighten so much with a colorless blender, I could do that with the Copic Acrea pens, markers, pens, paint pens, I think they call them. So they're actually pretty cool in terms of being able to add all different kinds of things. Like here I'm adding smoke from my hot chocolate because I was having cocoa since it was chilly outside. And I did that with the Copic Acrea pen, and while it was still wet, just kind of smushed it with my finger so it would look like wispy smoke. And then just kept working on things. I kept, changing the color of the lamp base just because I needed it then to be dark. Originally, I thought I was going to have it light, etc. Adding more art supplies because there is no such thing as too many art supplies in my world. So you should see my desk. It is a disaster almost all the time with stuff everywhere. But the desk does lift up. So this lamp, as much as I might fantasize about having this, major award lamp in my studio, would be completely impractical to have it right there because the 2/3 of the desk on the left lifts. So I can paint at it on an angle, and often I lift it so I can paint, and a lamp there would just fall over. So it would have to be where the green plant is. So I don't think anybody concocting a major award lamp for me, please don't do that because it won't work anyway. This is just a fantasy drawing of it. So then we get back to, what am I going to do here with the back side of me? And I decided it was time to really go black. Yes, I know, a yellow sweater that's black on the back side. And it may not look black in reality. If you were to walk up to me, you might see some value in there. But in this picture, it started really making the light glow from the lamp once I started pushing everything further and further into the dark. But that purple pen, it's not my favorite purple to use with yellows. It's V05 instead of the V04. And by the way, the yellow color that my sweater is, that is a Y19. It's not Y17. I was so disappointed when I saw that because I would love to have had a Y17 in this drawing because that is my favorite color. So my walls in the studio are Y17. They are a very bright yellow, and I decided to have that in here. But in the dark, I was actually looking at the colors in the dark, and it was amazing how much, if you actually really look at colors in the dark, how desaturated they really get. Because the picture on the wall has a white frame or a white mat inside a dark frame, and then a black mat inside that, and then the picture, it's like a triple mat thingy. And the matte part was a dark gray. I was just kind of surprised. And I just kept feeling like the wall wasn't even dark enough. So I went over the wall with a C7. I know it's crazy, but look how it pushes everything into the background because you need that contrast. And this plant, which is, again, not a plant I have. I used to have a live plant. It was really big. It was like a small tree. And I finally killed it. So I would like to get a large fake one for that section over there because that little spot in my studio could handle a nice big plant. And I would feel like I'm surrounded by greenery things, which would be nice. So it's kind of funny that when you draw your studio with plants in it, that can be the thing that convinces you that you need to go get plants. So I'm going to be looking for some cheap fake plants. I'll have to check Goodwill and see if they've got anything and dress my studio up a little bit. So the tape reveal is always fun, peeling that off and seeing that nice crisp white edge showing up. I use white artist tape. I'll link it in the supplies. Love this tape. Works so great. Little expensive compared to cheapo masking tape, but works great. So the music that I was listening to during the drawing itself was a lo-fi channel that I listen to a lot on YouTube. They just play kind of generic music, but they have these like really funky looking like AI videos, and that one had a snowy scene in it and a little crackling fire. So I said, yeah, I'll just listen to that one. And I used all the colors in this set, in this picture. Did it seem overdone? Does it look like too much? I was trying not to go a little too crazy with it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. And thank you for winning me the Copic Award if you were one of those who clicked the like button on it last year. Links for everything are in the doobly-doo. I'll see you again really soon. Bye-bye.